Yeah, we find her, the beautiful girl we've been missing. We wanna have her kissing. We find her, now we in love. So it goes out, the remix.
DMB, Tux Bites, remix.
Now if I had to lose you like a bad phone connection, I'd change my game to get a better reception. Sit back, let's start this interaction. Don't fight the feelings, just a chain reaction. Your heart won't give you the wrong instructions. Like my GPS, yes, I got the right direction. We gotta merge together like a road intersection. Last stop is gonna be my love and affection. I ain't like them other dudes, they wanna call you shorty, but I'ma call you a beautiful girl. I took your picture home, my mama saw it, she's a very, very beautiful girl. I wanna put you in my video, cause you're so beautiful. You're a beautiful girl. So when you hear us on your radio, turn up your stereo. It's beautiful girl.
Gotta find a shorty what's worth of a lady. It's nice but maybe doesn't look like 40. It's taking a little time. Was I say no signs? Any traces of my baby? Who's gonna be my baby? But I thought I'm gonna take my time. Within it took a long fine eye. I saw a shorty passing by. She's got this very pretty smile. It was right at the bus station. I tried to make a conversation, holding her arms, feeling so charmed. I felt the sensation. It's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Now I realize I found me a beautiful girl. She's a model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it by. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, a killing tie. I found me a beautiful girl.
My wish came true when I saw you, girl. God must have blessed me with your beauty, girl. Looking so right from your head to your toe. Shaped like a cocoa bottle with a smile of a queen. My queen to be, you my destiny. Got a body of a goddess with your beauty. I'm impressed and I'm never in distress. Come on over and be mine. Been searching for a man and now all the cats keep looking to mine. With a sexy walk and a sexy talk. She must be from a planet called the sexy world. I know I ain't tripping, better yet I'm thinking put a ring on the finger. We look good together. Take your place in my heart. With your beauty I must say that I'll never turn away. Who would think I'm in love?
Such the way she smiles at me just really makes me weak. The way she speaks to me just really make me go so weak. Keep staring in her eyebrows. All I get to say is wow. If you touch as a breeze at night, all I really want in my life. Oh yeah, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing tie. I found me a beautiful girl. Yeah, beautiful girl. What beautiful girl? Yeah. Beautiful girl.
Damn. Money. You seen her? Hot Ice. Have you seen her? LP. Have you seen her? I'ma go over to Tux Bites. I know you've probably seen her. He has a lot of beautiful girls with him. Tux, it's DMB, baby. Look,
Beautiful.
I look for a while, but I can't seem to find a beautiful girl so I can make her mine. Time after time, I've been searching for a while, but every girl I meet never seems worthwhile. What can I do? I pray to God for an answer. I feel pains in my heart like cancer, and when I find her, I'm gonna romance her. Lace several presents and gifts. Call me Santa. Claus, I make a heartbeat pause. That's my girl, homeboy, not yours. The girl of my dreams, she's more than I ever thought. Show me ass and picture. I think I'm getting punked. She's what I really want, so I'ma go get her. Since I'm a go getter, you know I'm gon' get her. And I will give her the world. Anything for my beautiful girl.
Psych. Ooh, it's been a while that I've been trying to find a beautiful girl. Fine brown eyes. I found me a beautiful girl. She's my model, she's so fine. I just wanna take it. Beautiful girl. Sparkling eyes, killing
touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
Man of prestige. Ha! Now this guy win. Now you win. Now you win today. Now you win. Now you win. I agree. Man of prestige. Now man you be.
I'm sure some people will be jealous now the way I talk about Ola. But I have learned a lot from him. That's why I keep telling you to follow him. If you don't follow Man of Prestige, now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Welcome back. This is Man of Prestige. What we do here is we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics, and we tackle them from a self-power, social, seduction, attraction, and emotional intelligence standpoint. All right, with that being said, let's get this out of the way. We do have 2 books. My wife and I, we've written 2 books to cover these topics from our own personal stories. So you can download them for free at manofprestige.com. You can see that on the screen right now. And I want to say a quick shout out to my sponsors, Mo Fresh, Life with Natu, Adesua, Film Girl, Open Floor by Tima, Gorex Corner, D-Love 3000, Yes TV, Chidima, Sparkleberry, Mary Parker. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. You too can join the gang. You can also sponsor this platform for as low as 99 cents. You can see our goals for this month on the screen. You can also leverage Cash App, that's $ Man of Prestige, or you can use email address ask@Man of Prestige on Zelle and PayPal. You can also use those email address to reach out to us for personal coaching, relationship coaching, marriage coaching, things like that. Okay, that's the email right there on the screen. Now, without any further ado, we're just going to get right in. I've got some topics to cover today, and let's get going. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, let's talk about this first story right here. Wife divorces husband for being too good. All right. There's a story that I'm looking at on, it's actually called tori.ng. Okay. I'm going to read and then we'll talk for a few minutes. Now, today I have quite a bit to cover, so I have to make sure that I am paying attention to time. So sorry, I'll turn on my alarm. Good. All right, so this story says, according to her, she never found him attractive, but simply agreed to marry him at the time, thinking he was everything. Hold on 1 second. Let me just put this on the screen. Okay, good. Thinking he was everything she wanted in her life. A woman has divorced her husband because he's a good guy. All right, so again, there's one reason why I'm going to cover the 3 stories I'll cover before we get into the main topic today. There's only one reason, okay? It's to satisfy your urge for this kind of stories, okay? I know somehow, you know, there's a lot of stories like this out there. Yes, they are, but it doesn't have to be your story. And it's very unlikely that these are your stories. But just in case it's your story, the same rules apply. Anyway, let's keep going. A woman has divorced her husband because he's a good guy. According to the lady, her husband of 2 years failed to make her happy despite being a good guy. According to the lady, her husband of 2 years failed to make her happy despite being a good guy. The woman, identified as Minnie F Baby on Facebook, took to the platform to detail her reason for dumping her husband. In her words, and I quote, "I spent 2 years of my life unhappy with this man. I've been in denial about my desires for women, and I'm ready to live in my truth. I was never attracted to this man. I never fell in love with this man. Ouch. My husband was just a good guy that I felt I needed, but I never wanted him. And I don't give a F what anyone thinks about me. I'm choosing me and my happiness. I'm much prettier when I smile, and a smile is something this man never gave me. I filed the divorce." Now, sharing a photo with her new partner, who is a woman, she revealed that it was an instant feeling of butterfly, like she have never felt in the last 2 years. And I quote, "I've been with my husband for 2 years and I never smiled. The day I seen you at the truck stop in Mobile filing that 18-wheeler up, I instantly felt butterflies. Baby, in 1 month, you gave me a feeling that a man couldn't give me in 2 years. I'm tired of hiding my true self. I want you to know I'm ready to walk away from my marriage and spend my life with you. I love you, woman." She had it. All right. Okay. So this is a report on Tori NG. I'm coming to the chat in a second. Pardon me. Hold on 1 second. This is a story on Tori.ng. Let's see here. Let me make this. Okay. All right. Apparently, this is the new lover. All right. Let me come to the chat. Let's see what's going on in the chat. The chat. This thing is saying I've lost connection. Anyway, welcome, Jaisha. Good to see you. Who else is there? Sparkleberry said, "Good guy versus evil guy." All right. Let me see here. Let me see what else is going on here. All right, I definitely want to dissect this story. I want us to dissect it. There's a lot more to it than just the fact that she fell in love with a woman. You know, there's a lot more to it. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let me see here. Okay. All right, let's do that. All right, so I'm just gonna analyze what she said real quick. A couple of things that I want to point out there. She said, "I spent 2 years of my life unhappy with this man." That's usually an exaggeration. Anytime anybody says something like that, it's usually some form of exaggeration, but it's not necessarily a lie. Okay. What you can just think of it as that person is speaking from a place of emotions, feelings, right? Just feelings. That's what that is. And oftentimes, she's probably highlighting the emotions that she feels the most, right? "I've been in denial about my desires for women, and I'm ready to live in my truth. I was never attracted to this man." The word never, if you see the word never or always, right, it's one of two things. Okay, let me calm down a little bit. It's one of two things. It's either that person is just straight up evil, or they're exaggerating from a place of emotions. We all do that. Okay, so "I was never attracted to this man." Yeah, right. Attraction, maybe attraction is possible. There's some people out there that will marry people that they're not attracted to, but the word never is just doesn't make sense. Even if somebody was convincing you to like this guy, right? Even if all they were doing is convincing you to like this guy, and you were kind of like, it's not that bad looking, and you're then like, yeah, that makes the never thing inaccurate. It's a lie. Okay, something was there. There was some kind of value that you found that made you decide to settle for less, I guess you want to call it, but it's just not accurate. But again, I get it. You have to pay attention. The feelings are truth. Okay, and that's what you need to pay attention to. Perception becomes reality, right? So that's what you have to pay attention to. So if somebody wakes up and they start to feel this way, why would you want to stay married to them, right? So you have to let it go. She said, "I never fell in love with this man." Okay, as soon as you find out, you need to let it go. "My husband was just a good guy that I felt I needed, but I never wanted him." All right, so So she stayed married to him out of pity. That's sad. I don't give a F what anyone thinks about me. Okay. If you have to say that, you do care. If you ever have to say that out loud like that, you care.
Don't care. Don't.
Now, you might not care about the same things, but there's something you care about. Yeah, good guy. Oh, that's what they said. Oh. So now, woman, now him be the option. Yes. So now the woman, oh, she wants woman now. She's going from, she's going from a man to a woman. Hold on 1 second. There you go. Aha. She's going from a man to a woman. So the word never or always, if you use that in your delivery, there's a good chance you're exaggerating from a place of emotions. Not necessarily a lie. Not that you mean to tell a lie, but you are caught up in some kind of emotions. It could also be an infatuation. Maybe somehow she thinks it's going to be better on the other side right now. But bottom line is that when people run away from their problems in this way, it's their shadow. It follows them everywhere they go. So your own, if somebody comes to you as a man and they say this to you, your own is to let them go. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. Okay. Don't try to convince them to stay or any of that nonsense. It's going to backfire. Okay. Especially if you're able to convince them. You're basically just cooking your own breakfast. More, that's what you're doing. You're cooking it more. It's going to hurt even more when she finally decides that it's over. So don't, it doesn't matter if she's lying or not. Somebody is expressing this, don't convince them to stay. Let them go. I'm much prettier. She said, I'm much prettier. Okay, my husband is just a good guy. I don't. So if you're getting with somebody just because you have pity for them, may God forgive you. Because again, your true feelings will one day show up. I'm much prettier when I smile, and a smile is something this man never gave me. I filed a divorce. No human being should be responsible for the smile on your face. Right? The only thing that tells me is that this is a very weak human being, and they're probably just about to show another person's daughter Shege. And what we've seen in some studies is that it's actually worse when they are of the same gender. It gets worse. But we're not going to speculate. We're just going to look at this and say, hey, if this ever happens to you, let it go. Now, for her, she's the one talking, right? For her, she wants to go. It's not the end of the world, go. But at least can you please release the gentleman, release him into the world so that he can go and find love and find happiness somewhere else, But no, you're not going to just blame him for your inability to be able to smile. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I've been with my husband for 2 years and I never smiled. It's because you couldn't smile. It's because you're not capable of smiling. It's not his fault that he couldn't make you smile. Listen, it's not his fault that he couldn't make you smile. Okay? You have something deeper going on. The day I seen you at the truck stop in mobile filing, that 18-wheeler instantly felt butterflies. What that is you're probably comparing what you couldn't have or what you didn't have to what you already have. We all do that to a large extent, right? See finish, right? That's the comparison thing going on there. So basically what you have, you're delusional. That's what it is. Just wait. With time, the truth will reveal itself. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I've been okay, yeah. So, baby, in 1 month, you gave me a feeling that a man couldn't give me. It's only feelings. Feelings don't last. Feelings will do that to you, right? You can get a feeling just by looking at the person. They call it love at first sight. Yeah, right. But yeah, some people have that, right? So, in fact, that it took 1 month, I'm surprised. For somebody so weak, it took 1 month for someone else to put a smile on your face. Usually, people that see the grass as greener on the other side, they usually can just see. They're like, I'm happy because this one doesn't make me smile. Like, right? Because again, it's a matter of time. They will collect.
Sorry.
Just let them go. And please, when you're letting them go, you have to walk away and mean it. You have to walk. You're not doing no contact, stupid nonsense, no contact to Loshikokon. You walk away and you mean it in this moment. Because that's the best way you can demonstrate that you value yourself. If you do anything outside of that, you lack self-respect. It's like no wonder. Okay. I'm tired of hiding my true self. No, you should never hide your true self. Go for it. After all, we all take risk in life, right? Go for it. I'm tired of hiding my true self. I want you to know I'm ready to walk away from my marriage and spend my life with you. I love you, woman. She had it. All right. If you noticed yesterday, we covered the story of Tamar Braxton and Jeremy Robinson. And we found out that she was actually married to the dude for 61 days. So, okay, so she was married the first. Let me see if I can find that thing real quick. Let's see here. I posted something earlier on in the backstage. I think I can still find it. There you go. All right. Look at this. So Tamar Braxton was married to somebody. Let me make sure you guys can see this. Married to some guy, 2001 to 2003. What's going on here? It's okay. Anyway, 2001 to 2003. As you guys can, hopefully you can see on the screen. Let's see. Is this showing? I hope so. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm trying to see it, but let me. Okay, I know why. Let me close this page. All right, so there you go. 2001 to 2003. Married to another dude, Vince, the most popular marriage that we know with 2008, 2019. And then the most recent one right now, she was married to this white guy. You know how some people are saying white men are just better. Yeah, right. It's not just white men, they say that too. They always think that something else is better. The grass always seems greener on the other side. It's not always that way. Some people don't need to be together. Don't get me wrong, okay? But I'm telling you, majority of these cases are situations where people are running away from their own problems. That's what you're looking at, okay? That's majority of these cases, all right? These are incompetent people that don't want to do the necessary work and they want to run away from their problems, all right? They will collect and it will get worse and worse. Now, we've already shared some results of some studies with you before that up to 75% of second and third marriages end up in the same potopoto because it's the same person. Your shadow follows you everywhere. When I tell people, say, hey, you attract who you are. They're like, what do you mean? What about people that unfortunate things happen to? You see, these are the problems. You don't even have people that say things like that. They even lack simple comprehension, context, contextualizing issues. They struggle. It's like no wonder. Right? 61 days. I didn't even know that she was even married to this guy, but she ended up marrying this dude. So again, people like this that want to run away from their problem, let them run, let them go. Okay? If you happen to be on the receiving end of this type of situation, let them go. And for you, that you feel strongly like you're making the right decision, I'm with you. Please take the risk. Life is only but once, right? You only live once. YOLO, right? Do you knock yourself out? Okay, do what you got to do. But here's what you learn. Here's something that you can learn. And the lesson here is that lasting joy, there's no one momentary feelings. I feel like you never, there's no one feeling anything that can give you lasting joy. It does not exist. Okay, anything that's worthwhile takes time. That is true across the board. It doesn't matter what we're talking about in life. Anything that's worthwhile will take time. You have to, in order for it to work, you have to work. Okay, the thing will not work if you don't do the work. All right, and that is a good thing. That's what separates the losers from the winners, right? That's what separates the losers from the winners. So I don't know the details of their story. She could be telling the truth. What I'm asking her to do is please go, please release that man so he can go and find joy. Please, if you're the man in this type of situation, let it go. Do not try to convince this person. The idea that the man is just too good is just cap. It's nonsense. It's rubbish.
Stop the cap.
Okay? It's a lie.
Apa, you lie. Sabi lie.
That man is not perfect. That's not relevant to what we're talking about here. The fact that he's a good person is completely irrelevant. Okay? It's the lack of accountability here, right? That I smell, that I don't know for sure. But I know something for sure. Jumping from one relationship to another, dealing without healing, you will. I just told you the Tema story now. You collect. There's no way around it. It's just the way it works in life. Sparkleberry says, shout out to Sparkleberry. Thank you for being here. I see you today. You're live with us. No one can give you what you do not possess. She has somewhat unrealistic expectations. Absolutely. If she's unable to find her own inner joy, her current partner will be history before you know it. Yes, that's the way it works, right? We don't manufacture smile or joy or happiness for other people. We can help you make it better. In a good relationship, we can help each other magnify it. But you have to have something first to work with, Welcome, Babes Wind. Good to see you. 61 days, yes. 61 days. But let me wrap that up real quick. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Join the conversation. What do you think? She should just go and find happiness, right? You only live but once. Let me know what your thoughts are. And hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I will be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we are here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, welcome back. Another DNA story, yo. I'm looking at a report on hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate you. Hit the like button. Let's bring everybody else into the room. I appreciate you. Thank you. Let's ginger the algorithms. Thank you. DNA shocker. Paternity fraud crisis explodes in Nigeria. I mean, this is like repeat news, but let's cover it. There's a fresh report from 9 hours ago on leadership.ng, and I'm just going to read and then we'll take it from there, see if we can get one or two things from it. Again, the same reason why I'm covering the short stories. These are the extremes that many people will rather listen to than to learn how relationships work. The point here, by the time I'm done here, is that this is probably most likely not your story. So engaging stuff like this and never getting to the end of the live stream where I cover the lessons, you're not doing yourself a favor. Okay. But I'll cover it just so you know that I'm acknowledging that there are crazy people out there. There are crazy stories out there. I'll cover them. Okay. But please always stick around to gather the lessons, because most likely the sensationalism in this story, you can't relate. You just like, oh, wow, there are crazy people. Oh God, exactly. But it's probably not your case. There are good people, good men and good men everywhere in the divorce court. These are not people committing paternity fraud, I promise you, for the most part, okay? For the most part, it's little petty, stupid stuff, which we're going to cover many of them later. I have a super story today. I have a mega story today from a brother that we're going to cover today. So stick around. Now, with that being said, let's talk about this DNA. Let's see what patients EV or IV, Ihejirika, she put a report on Leadership NG. I'm going to read it. She says, in recent years, Nigeria has seen an alarming rise in cases of paternity fraud, a phenomenon where men are misled into believing they are the biological fathers of children who are not theirs. This issue, once considered a private and somewhat rare occurrence, is now emerging as a significant social crisis with far-reaching implications for families, legal systems, and societal values. Paternity fraud in Nigeria is becoming increasingly prevalent, with some experts suggesting that up to 27% of men who undergo paternity testing discover they are not the biological fathers of their children. This figure, while difficult to verify due to the sensitive nature of the issue, highlights a growing crisis that cuts across various social strata, from the poor to the affluent. One of the most troubling aspects of paternity fraud is that it often remains undiscovered until years after the child's birth, sometimes surfacing during medical emergencies, divorce proceedings, or when men decide to take DNA tests out of curiosity or suspicion, or out of too many stories like this on social media. It creates fear inside the heart of certain people that are already on some kind of edge. Okay, let me make sure that I get rid of this. Hold on one second. Let's see. All right, good, perfect. Several factors contribute to the rise of paternity fraud in Nigeria. One key factor is the societal pressure on women to bear children. Societal pressure on women to bear children. Those are reasons. So I'm giving you reasons. If you buy into it, say yes, 1. If you say it's bullshit, put 2 or no. That's nonsense in the chat. Thank you. Particularly male heirs. One key factor is the societal pressure on women to bear children, particularly male heirs, which can lead some to engage in deceptive practices if they face fertility challenges or fear stigmatization for being childless. Cultural practices and gender dynamics also play significant roles. There's 2 more things, 3. Cultural practices and gender dynamics also play significant roles. I'm not sure how gender dynamics can play a significant role if it's a woman who is committing paternity fraud all the time. How is that playing role here, right? Well, I won't say all the time. There are also people that steal babies in the hospitals and stuff like that. But I'm talking about particularly a situation where there's a deception by a woman to a man, right? So how can we bring in gender dynamics? Because that cancels out if it's a woman that will commit that all the time. Anyway, let's keep going. In a society where male children are often valued more highly and where women's economic security is sometimes tied to childbearing, the pressure to produce a male here can be overwhelming. Some women may resort to paternity fraud to maintain their marriage or secure financial support. Those are 2 more reasons: maintain their marriage and secure financial support. Right? Are these all valid reasons? I'm not sure if there's any reason can be valid, but I'm just asking. Also, infidelity is another contributing factor. Some people are like, hey. In cases where a woman engages in extramarital affairs, the paternity of a child might be questioned, leading to potential cases of paternity fraud if the true biological father is different from the presumed father. The Smart DNA's 2024 report released recently revealed that 1 in 4 men tested for DNA were not 1 in 4 men tested for DNA were not the biological fathers of their children, as 27% of paternity tests conducted were negative. The report, covering July 2023 to June 2024, it's a fresh report, unveiled several startling findings that shed light on society dynamics, economic factors, and changing family structures in the country. All right, let me read somebody's comment is here. Let me see. Okay, Sparkleberry says, just thinking out loud here, is it possible that these men that have been affected have some form of untreated fertility problem? Also, are the women desperate to have children? I'll leave that on the screen. I want other people to really address that. That's a good question. Those are two good questions. I want other people to address them. All right, so let me keep reading, okay? According to the report, hold on one second. Let's keep going. According to the report, 27% of paternity tests conducted came back negative, indicating that more than 1 in 4 men tested were not the biological fathers of the children in question. This statistic underscores the prevalence of paternity uncertainty in Nigerian society. There's going to be growing paternity uncertainty in Nigerian society because we're covering this kind of news. There are men that already feel insecure about the paternity of their children, and the uncertainty is just going to grow. But again, remember, social media or this type of news or media only magnifies what is already there, right? So yeah, but that's also a significant factor. I'm not gonna lie, that's a significant factor. So there are people that on a normal day they wouldn't think of that, but now they're like lining this up with other experience they're having, and they're like, that child, it kind of looked like me. His nose, but his nose, yeah, I'm not sure. So the uncertainty is going to probably grow more and more. But regardless, what we know is that 27%, according to this report, are coming back negative. For obviously, there will be other reasons beyond she just wanted to commit fraud. One thing I can think of is like babies are stolen at the hospital and exchanged without the consent of the actual parents, without even her knowing. There are other ways for her to find out, yes, but a lot of those other ways can also be conflicted by other factors. But I don't know, would we say this is minority of the cases or majority? These are just the factors, okay? The report noted a significant increase in DNA tests for immigration purposes. That's one reason why people do tests, growing more than any other test type, saying this surge aligns with the ongoing JAPA phenomenon as more Nigerians seek opportunities abroad. The trend suggests a growing number of parents with dual citizenship are processing paperwork for their children's immigration. Revealing the economic disparity, the report shows that an overwhelming 73.1% of all DNA tests were conducted in Lagos, with a stark divide between mainland, 67.5%, and island, 32.5%. This concentration highlights the economic divide within Lagos and across Nigeria, raising questions about access to such services in other parts of the country. All right, hold on one second, guys. Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. All right, we shall continue. So if you saw that comment for Sparkberry and you see it later, please leave a comment. I want to know your thoughts about that. Let's keep going here. So, on gender imbalance in test initiation, the report revealed that men initiated a staggering 88.2% of all test requests. That's to be expected. So, these are men that are questioning the paternity of their children, compared to just 11.8% by women. This significant disparity raises questions about gender roles, trust in relationships. This is major. This is the part that I want to talk about, the trust issues in relationships and societal pressures in paternity certainty. The report also showed that the ethnic distribution as the Yoruba ethnic group accounted for 53% of tests. Jesus Christ. Yoruba people.
Jesus.
Oh my God. I wonder why. Followed by Igbo, 31.3%, with Hausa at only 1.20%. Those ones are not asking any questions. This distribution, which doesn't align with national ethnic demographics, should prompt discussions about the cultural attitudes towards paternity testing. That's a good point. Genetic science across different Nigeria ethnicities, the report, let's see. Most tested children were aged 0 to 5, 54%, suggesting the preference for early paternity confirmation. There you go. So a lot of people are looking for confirmation. Men aged 41 and 31, 41 plus 45%, 31 to 40, 37%, were most likely to request tests. These are people in the beginning of their life. Trust is being tampered with big time. Potentially reflective of economic capabilities or increased paternity concerns in older men. The report stated, while also revealing a slight gender bias in child testing. And I quote, more tests were conducted on male children, 52.8%, than female children, 47.2%. That's not too far. Hinting at the possible cultural preferences for confirming paternity of male offsprings. On the reason for the testing, the report showed that the vast majority of tests, 85.9%, were conducted for peace of mind. Whoosh. Conducted for peace of mind, highlighting the personal rather than legal motivations behind most DNA testing in Nigeria. This is quite revealing. And I quote, these findings offer a unique window into the changing dynamics of Nigerian families and society, said the operations manager at Smart DNA, Elizabeth Digier. And I quote, the high rate of negative paternity tests and the surge in immigration-related testing are particularly noteworthy. They reflect broader societal trends that merit further discussions and research. The concentration of testing in Lagos also raises important questions about accessibility and awareness of DNA testing services across Nigeria. As a company, we're committed to expanding access to our services nationwide while maintaining the highest standards of accuracy and confidentiality. By the way, these things are not always accurate. But I guess you can solve that problem by asking for a second or third opinion, right? The legal implications of paternity fraud are complex and far-reaching. In Nigeria, there is no specific law addressing paternity fraud. Yeah, because family law, man. Leaving affected men with limited legal recourse. Yeah. Although men who discover they are not the biological fathers of their children can seek redress in court, the outcomes are often uncertain and may not adequately address the emotional, financial toll on the victims. That's the point. They're emotional in nature. So it's very hard for the judicial system to get too nosy about that. It's very hard. But I'm sure as they continue to do that, there's going to be more and more conversations around it. A legal practitioner, barrister Tony Obiora, said addressing paternity fraud in Nigeria requires a multifaceted approach. First, there's a need for greater public awareness about the prevalence and consequences of paternity fraud. Okay, so education, right? That's value system, building the value system around that. Believe it or not, a lot of people in ages past, they don't really make much of it outside of maybe, like they said earlier on, they're just trying to make sure they have children, they want to have kids, or they had previous relationships that really didn't end properly before somebody asks their hand in marriage. There's so many things that can create this, right? Educational campaigns can help dispel the stigma associated with infertility. There you go. So again, value system. A lot of people's value system are built around their ability to have children, right? So that's a big deal. Encourage honest communication within marriages. And secondly, legal reforms are essential to protect the rights of men, children affected by paternity fraud. This could include the introduction of laws that provide clear guidelines for addressing paternity disputes and offering adequate remedies for victims. Thirdly, the availability of DNA testing should be expanded and made more affordable. Even here, I don't think it's exactly that affordable because that's the question that keeps coming up. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for the lab tests? DNA testing is a crucial tool in establishing paternity and can help prevent fraudulent claims. Encouraging the use of DNA testing before a man is listed as the father on birth certificates could be a preventive measure. Well, again, who's going to pay for it? He also stressed the need for social support systems that provide counseling and mediation services for families affected by paternity fraud, saying these services can help mitigate the emotional damage and support the rebuilding of trust and relationships. So, again, a lot of people like to speak about this topic from a standpoint of morals. You cannot do that until there's building the value system around it first. You can't talk about morals unless you build the value system in the society first. A lot of people that are having these conversations, this is one of the things that they are missing. Black Diamond, welcome, says this is becoming an epidemic. Babes Wind, good evening to you. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are around this. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Join the conversations in the comment area in the chat. Let's move forward. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, welcome back. You guys know who JARUMA is? Anybody know who JARUMA is? If you know JARUMA, raise up your hand. If you know JARUMA, anybody know who JARUMA is? I never knew who JARUMA was until yesterday, I think. What's her name? Young lady, content creator. What's her? Nezaville did a video on this lady, and I was like, oh, interesting. I was like, I didn't know what this was. My wife was like, you didn't know what this was? I was like, no, I don't know what this was, but the name sounds familiar. JARUMA reveals secret. She left husband for her rich sugar daddy. So there's a report here on gistlover.com. So let's see what they're talking about. I guess the person you're looking at on the screen is the husband who was in love apparently with her before. Yes, the Kanyamata lady, exactly. Welcome, Chinye. The Kanyamata lady. Chinye said, I know her. I didn't know her. Now, I know Kanyamata because you guys were talking about it so much over the last 3 years. But, okay, let's see what she's talking about. Awa Saidu Mohammed, known as JARUMA, an aphrodisiac seller. Hold on 1 second. Let me just say, okay, there you go. An aphrodisiac seller has returned to social media almost a year after being out of the spotlight. Very dark man had previously ridiculed her when it was rumored she was in rehab for drug abuse. Now, from what I saw with Nesby yesterday, I think she has confirmed that she was going through a rehab from addiction to drugs, and she claimed some rich person's wife made her or brought her into it, something like that. Anyway, in a video she shared, I'm just reading from Gistlover right now, gistlover.com. In a video she shared that she is now living with her sugar daddy, having left her marriage. JARUMA, again, I'm covering this story because you guys love these extreme stories that are more likely not your story. But here we go. Okay, if you tell me this is, if I see enough people start saying this is my story in the emails, I will start answering them. But I just want you to I want to highlight some of the stories that you guys engage badly. Like, these things are happening. I know they are happening, but these are not the reasons why divorce are happening. It's petty, stupid stuff that's making divorce happen. Okay, but anyway, let's read it. Okay. In a video, she shared that she's now living with a sugar daddy, having left her marriage. JARUMA explained that she believes marriage brings poverty. She believes marriage brings poverty. This is usually the point where I would disengage the conversation, but for now, I will finish it. Okay, I'll finish it. I don't know. What do you want me to tell to this kind of person? What kind of advice can you give this person? They're not asking for advice. Why would you advise them? It makes no sense now. Anyway, she said marriage brings poverty. She showed she showed off her lover's luxury items in his closet, in his walk-in closet, and encouraged fans to come visit her. She also displayed his collection of perfumes, shoes, and bags, claiming he has more than some women do. Okay, the controversial figure who had a dispute with Regina Daniels revealed her man's name is Zeus and that he hails from the north. Okay, let me see if we can get something out of this. Hold on one second. Okay, she actually has a page, I guess. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. There you go. Let me play this for you guys. And then I don't know. I'm playing it for the first time. I want to see if there's anything meaningful there. Hold on. Let me refresh this page because I think I'll refresh. I'll be right back. Okay. I'll refresh. All right, I'm back. All right, let me share this and I'll play it and we'll talk.
Today is the 2nd of September 2024, and you want to see my face? You want to see my face? I'm here in Zeus's house. He don't camp me for life. See, Emano, can you see? Can you see? This is Zeus's walk-in closet. Arewa money, man. Northern money, big boys money. Have you ever seen a man that has a walk-in closet like this? Are you guys seeing what I'm showing you? Can you see it well? Have you ever seen a man that has a walk-in closet like this? It's not over. Let me show you. Show you see here. Can you see? A man that has more perfumes. A man that has more perfumes than a woman self. More shoes than a woman. More bags than a woman. If you're looking for me, I'm in Zeus' house. Come and find me here. Mistress of Zeus. Big God versus bigger God. The newest reality TV show in town. Let me show you the remaining of the house. I hope the video is not going to end. Okay. Let me show you. Let me show you. Are you seeing? This is the top floor. Upstairs. Do you want to see more? Do you want to see more? Oh yeah. Go and check Mistress of Zeus. No. Big God versus bigger God.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys want me to do with that, but in the same conversation as learning how relationships and marriage work. Why are we talking about this today? We're talking about it because she said marriage creates poverty. I think it's starting to make better sense. The report continues. In other news, Nollywood star Uju Okoli couldn't stay quiet after being rumored. Okay, that's something else entirely. I don't want to cover that. All right. What a waste of brain cells. Sparkleberry says she was in rehab recently. It does not seem like she has responded to treatment. Absolutely no storm stars day are nyash. Shameless fool. It's just a word. I just want you guys to, just be aware. These are some of the influencers out there. Sometimes when people are referencing conversations about relationship and marriage, these are the kind of things they want to talk about. And I'm like, what do you want me to say? These are not the reasons why people are ending up in divorce. I'm sorry. These things will exist. There will always be this kind of girls that think money is everything. There will always be girls who are doing BBLs and big nash. Although those numbers are increasing though, but my point is that face your forward, face your front. These are not your issues, okay? She left her husband for a rich sugar daddy. Where is the surprise? And I'm not understanding. Why is anybody ever surprised about this kind of news? Okay? Why is anyone ever surprised about this kind of news? Now, she was selling Kayamata for a bunch of married folks. She was claiming to be helping a lot of people with their sexual lives. She sold millions of dollars worth of Kayamata, they claim, or at least let's call it billions in Naira, right? So, again, I can't judge her for feeling like she's powerful, right? To the point that she started engaging in drugs and now she's coming back from rehab 2 years later. The society gave her that kind of power. It is what it is, right? But for you and I want you to understand that you don't have to become a JARUMA before your marriage end up in divorce. All you have to be is lack skills, have coconut head, not willing to listen to anything outside of common sense. That's all it takes to end up in those divorce courts. Okay? Yes, there are also quote unquote normal people that will walk out of their marriage and walk into the arms of a rich man somewhere. That does happen as well. Okay, so, but I just want us to face forward. This uniqueness to every story. Let's focus on those kind of things. That's how you're going to build yourself. Okay, so again, personally, I'm not surprised that she would leave her husband, even if he's a good man, quote unquote good man, to go and live with a rich sugar daddy. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that she'll be celebrating money on the internet, right? Like a numbskull. I'm not exactly surprised. My goal is that you're not surprised by things like this. You don't spend all your energy consuming stuff like this, just outside of cruise entertainment, of course, right? But you should just look at this kind of comment, and my goal is that you're able to laugh and like, okay, and just keep it moving like we're about to right now. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. We're getting to the nitty-gritty of today. Chia says her marriage ended a while back. She met sugar daddy later. It doesn't matter. She can literally walk out and walk into the arms of a rich man in Dubai somewhere. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. These people, they can do and undo all type of things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is two things. It doesn't matter. That's number one. Number two is just, this is content. This is the kind of content that they want. Let's get some more attention. Let's come and talk more about the real things. Speaking of the real things, again, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Still, nonetheless, let me know what your thoughts are about this. Afterwards, she was selling something that was valuable to a bunch of married people in their house. She was selling Kanyamata. They were listing names. To God be the glory, Kanyamata. God is King, Kanyamata. I'm exaggerating, but something like that, something to that effect. All kind of funny names that were sold to normal people that would claim to be normal human beings at different price points. 250,000 naira, 150,000 naira, and people are gullible enough to buy those things. They made her rich. We're not going to pretend that didn't happen. That happened. So we better get back to the business. Let's get to business. Let's do the work we need to do, so you don't end up buying God is great, Kanyamata, for 250,000 naira, and then come back here and tell me that this word is evil. Before Uncle, you didn't know that the word was evil. You're just finding out for the first time that the word was evil. Okay. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I will be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve. All right, welcome. Let's talk about Nancy Isime. Nancy Isime, actor, actress, Nigerian Hollywood actress. She has something to say. Let's listen.
We've been under attack all our lives. If you think you're going to come into the Nollywood space and not have people wanting to throw jabs at you and try and talk at you, you're a joker. Trying to learn everything that has to do with the name Nancy Isime is a big deal. I just felt like there were people who were hoping and finally saying, yeah, this Nancy, finally, we found something to hold on to. See, she showed us this. And then when I said, it's not, you notice, we went back to it. Why? She has spoiled the fame for us. I don't even know how every other week I'm trending. There's so many of us, but they would always speak at the one that they feel like shines the brightest because they need some of that light.
Spirit of excellence. Many Nigerians lack it. Many creatives lack it.
They just want salary. Don't force anybody to take advice. Nobody won't take me.
All right.
I was actually very scared of the light.
She said some other things, but let me just read this to you. I never daydream about getting married, unlike other young girls. I wonder how she found that out, but maybe it's in stories, Nollywood, Hollywood, romantic stories. That's when she got that from, right? Nigerian actress, according to Paul's NG, Nigerian actress Nancy Isime has shared her perspective on marriage, revealing that unlike many young girls who dream about their weddings, she is focused on building her career and achieving financial independence. Good for her. Good for her, right? Speaking during a recent interview on the Creativity Live with Linda podcast, the actress opened up about her aspirations, which are focused on working, money, and not marriage. Good for her. She said, I've always seen myself working. And I quote, I've always seen myself working. I say this to a few people, but when young girls sit down and daydream about getting married, I never did. I used to daydream about working and making my own money and being independent. A fear that I might not even have my dream wedding. Wait, I'm confused. Let's get back to it. Let's go back to the beginning. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm confused now. Let's go back. Rewind. Screech. I've always seen myself working. I say this to a few people, but when young girls sit down and daydream about getting married, I never did. I used to daydream about working and making my own money and being independent. I fear that I might not even have my dream wedding because what is a dream wedding? Oh, she's asking what is a dream wedding, but she might not have a dream wedding. Okay. Even if I get married, it will just be no, slow down. Wait. Let's get back to the working and the money and the independence, right? That's where we should be. What's going on here? All right. Are we confused? Well, is she Gen Z? Okay, I'm not surprised. Is that Gen Z or millennial? Hold on 1 second. Let me sit tight because you guys are not talking. Let's make sure I get this right. I fear that I might not even have my dream wedding because what is a dream wedding? That's a jump question because you already said you never dreamt about getting married. Even if I get married, it will just be a wedding that we both agree at the same time is how we feel. What is the meaning of we feel? What does that mean? We feel? What is that? It's I feel. Let's talk about how you feel. In your feelings, just off of this text alone, text doesn't do justice. We're just content, okay? Just content, okay? But we can learn one or two things. How I feel. No. She said how we feel. Her and her husband? I'm confused. And where we are at, is that you and some kind of husband to be? What is going on here? If it's a big wedding, not a big wedding again, fine. If it's a small wedding, whatever we feel. What do you mean we feel? What do you mean by we feel? Nancy, what do you mean by we feel? What is the meaning of this we feel? Anyway, this is post-NG report, okay? The actress stressed that her current stance traces back to her childhood and upbringing when there wasn't always money. Okay, she explained, and I quote, "I've always been that child that always saw myself having my own money. Maybe because I came from a humble background where asking for anything was about almost taboo. You're supposed to know that there is no money, so don't ask. But if we give you, take." And I used to be like, I can't wait to have my own money and do my own thing. Isime stressed that her priority lies in making her money and providing her ideal lifestyle for herself. She concluded, "That's why I'm such a believer in spending on myself. I spend on myself so much that nobody can take the position of, if not me, you won't have this life." Oh, good for her. Good for her. You know, it's good for her. I guess she was on a podcast called The Creativity, and she decided to offer her opinions. That's fine. Let me come to the chat. There's only one thing I want to say about this, and then we get into the story of the day. I was looking for my page. All right. No, she is pretty. She says she's beautiful. Yes, she is. She's scared after seeing her friend Jesus Baby's experience. Somebody is on to something. Somebody is on to something. She's not like any other young girls, but somehow a dream wedding kind of snuck into that conversation. And a man, an imaginary man, snuck into that conversation. Somehow, some way. Interesting. This is how people engage fear and they don't learn what they need to learn. These are the problems. There's some things that are just reality, okay? At the very minimum, somebody's going to smash. Okay? Even if you become celibate later on, but somebody's going to smash at the very minimum, okay? That means potentially a child can come into this world, right, in the middle of confusion. They would rather tell themselves stories that will make them feel better in the moment. These are the issues. Confusion. He never dreamt about it, but somehow somebody snuck into that dream. Anyway, confused a lot. Yes, I want to, but I don't want to. Confusion. She got married recently. She did? Nancy got married? No, that wasn't Nancy. I don't think so. Or did I miss something? This is a fresh news. This report is fresh. Let me see here. This report is from September 5. That's today. Yeah, I only cover fresh reports, by the way. Only fresh reports. Not to how you did. Maybe scared from her background. No, fear is valid. Fear is valid. But there's only one thing you should do with fear. You should face the fear. You should educate yourself. Education is the only way to mitigate the risk of whatever fear you have. Not educating yourself, pretending that life is not going to life. It's a dangerous game that a lot of people are playing. Right? They're winging things. Let's just use common sense. You know, she be married. Okay, we're pregnant. Let's just go ahead and have the baby. Yeah. Maybe she didn't experience it from her parents. No, she was just talking about the dream. She never dreamt like. I think she had the dream. I think she had the dream of the dream wedding like everybody else. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nancy, relax. It's okay to have the dream, and it's okay to have fear too, right? What is not okay is to tell ourselves lies. And it's not okay because she's wrong. It's not okay because it's dangerous. It's dangerous because you're going to mistakenly fall on Ebola, fell pregnant. Remember the other Linda? Her name is Linda. No, Nancy. She's Nancy. The other one, Linda Ikeji. Remember that falling pregnant story? Remember how she used to like, good girl story, like, and she mistakenly fall pregnant one day. We haven't heard the rest of the story since then. Listen, these are your influencers. They are just normal people. These are the things that are happening to people. They refuse to educate themselves because they are using common sense. Will lie to you, will tell you you know everything there is to know. Like, what's the big deal? You know, but when you fall pregnant, you're going to find out that it is a big deal. It's going to become a big deal because now you'll be responsible for another person's life. And it's not going to be as simple as common sense. You're going to have a lot of moments. You're going to be tested. You're going to be pulled from all types of angles because you're responsible for another person's life. And it's just better when you have the help of another person to navigate the challenges of that. It's just better, you know. But when you tell yourself that, oh, it was never my dream, I just want to make money. I don't know her story. I'm just going by the text I've seen here. So shout out to her. All these people that feel the need to talk without reflecting first. You could be right. Husband to be. Now so emotions. It's just listen, she's not wrong, but I'm just highlighting what it looks like when people tell themselves stories that make them feel better in the short term. Okay? Those stories, while they're not wrong, while they are good for you to feel better about yourself in the short term, they can be very dangerous because stories are powerful, which is why we're about to get into a story here today. Exactly. What's all this? I don't need a man rhetoric. Please, let's make our lives. Two things can be correct at the same time. You can have a man and you can have money at the same time. There's nothing that says you have to have only one of them, right? And I'm all for you making your money. You should make your money so we can spend it together, okay? So we can add it to the empire. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that. Only insecure men will ask you not to make your own money. Okay, just because they are right doesn't make it not insecure too. All right, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Let's get into this story. Oh, it's a powerful story. I feel like we're gonna learn a lot. Ladies, you're gonna come inside of the mind of a man who has collected shege, premium shege from a woman. Okay, it's not that deep, but something like that. Anyway, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.
All right, welcome back. Yep. So we have a story. We have a super story to cover today. Let me see here. Where is it? Okay, I got it. I found it. All right. So yes, it's 1 and 2, unveiling the secret of what makes a man truly irresistible. So I'm going to be sharing some tips with my brothers today, but we're going to dissect and analyze the story first. Okay. The story of this guy's story. Do you guys believe that men do suffer silently sometimes too? Is anybody here that doesn't believe that men suffer silently? A lot of times, not sometimes, a lot of times. Chinye said we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Absolutely. You cannot chew gum in my meetings in real life. If you're going to sing and talk, you have to spit the gum. You guys believe that men do suffer silently sometimes? Chinye said yes, they do. Chinye said they're humans. Oh, Chinye, they're humans. Yes, that's a fact. They are humans. Absolutely. So today, let's cover this story. I'm gonna read the story. I'm gonna read it first. I want to see your opinions, if you have any. Then I will analyze, and then I will give 5 tips for this brother to start with. These 5 tips are a good starting point. That's all it is. Okay. At the end of the day, even though we're getting to some specific stories here, this is still generalized opinions. All right. These stories are less than 1% of the actual things that happen. So take the advices, the opinions with a pinch of salt. But just know that you will still need real life support to navigate some of these problems because they are very complicated. Okay. Learned that from a music teacher from primary school. Believe it or not, people will come into my rehearsal and be spit it out. Personally, I actually don't like the sound of gum smacking in the mouth. It scratches my inside of my brain. Anyway, let's see here. How far did we go? Okay, we went well. All right, so let's get into the story. Silent suffering. I've been a silent viewer of your content for a while, and I think it's time I sign up for your coaching program. Go for it. As I clearly don't know what I'm doing, just as you always say. I'm writing to you from Toronto, Canada. I was born here to Nigerian immigrant parents, and I've lived here all my life. My wife, on the other hand, grew up in Nigeria until she was about 23. I thought I understood what it took to be a good husband, like my father, someone who is stable, reliable, and a rock for his family. But I've learned that these traits, while noble, can become your downfall when they aren't appreciated or respected. My wife and I met at a church youth event in our late 20s. She's beautiful, ambitious, and I fell for her hard. We got married a few years later. Things started out great. Our honeymoon phase lasted a bit longer than I expected, which only made me more certain I had found the woman of my dreams. Oh, but cracks began to show when my parents first came over from Nigeria to stay with us. They had retired a few years prior and sold their house where I grew up. I come from a close-knit family, and my parents mean the world to me. But she's never liked them. I've tried everything, accommodating her feelings, arranging separate visits, which were quite expensive, even staying up nights talking through her concerns, but nothing ever worked. She doesn't take corrections well. She would argue that my parents were too intrusive or too judgmental. I didn't see it that way. I think they were just being parents and should be honored. But she resented them regardless of my efforts to bridge the gap. As if that wasn't enough, one of her uncles started to get involved. I've heard things, and I suspect aspects of her upbringing are responsible for this turmoil. My uncle, no, sorry, our uncle once mentioned, our uncles once mentioned that they act crazy on one side of her family. He revealed this during a conflict between him and my mother-in-law about 4 years ago. Anyway, her mother would call her and subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, hint that I should take a firmer stance with my parents for her sake. I wanted peace, so I often found myself bending over backward to appease everyone. It was like walking on eggshells daily. Joint finances were another minefield. I thought managing money together would bring us closer, but it felt more like a power struggle. She has always been a spender. New clothes, dinners out, gifts for her side of the family. She'd make big purchases without consulting me. When I tried to bring it up, it would turn into an argument about how I'm trying to control her and how I'm jealous of her independence. We're both working professionals, and yet I feel like I have no freedom to lead in our financial decisions. It got to a point where I started keeping quiet just to keep the peace. I bottled up my feelings, thinking I could endure it. But the silence became burdensome, and over time, it became harder to breathe. I wanted us to go for counseling. She has rejected all the counselors I suggested, including you. I don't collect. I think it's about not wanting any suggestions from me. She's afraid she might be judged. She'd accused me of picking a counselor who would be biased in my favor. My aunt ambushed us with a visit the other day, and she hated the whole thing, claiming she felt judged. I don't think I'm a jealous man, but she started accusing me of it whenever I brought up her increasingly flirtatious behavior. She'd stay out late, laughing and chatting with other men while I stood in the background. When I'd ask about it, she'd scoff and say I was just insecure and imagining things. Maybe I was, but I'd never felt this way before her. What really tore me apart was how she started competing with my sister, who lives across town. My sister and I have always been close. She's one of my best friends. But somehow my wife saw her as a threat. She'd make snide comments, criticize our career choices, and even dismiss my sister's attempts to be friendly. It was like nothing my sister did was ever right in our eyes. I feel stuck. If I stood up for my sister, I was being unsupportive of my wife. If I kept quiet, I was betraying my own family. Either way, I was losing. I feel trapped in this silent suffering. All I feel is emptiness. I'm done. I've done everything I can to be the man she said she wanted, but it seems I'll never be enough. I don't have a solution, and maybe that's the worst part. I just needed to talk to someone who might understand. How much do you charge for relationship counseling? Please reply. I need help. Sincerely, Tunde. Not Amino, Tunde. All right, so your turn. I'm going to take a short break. Okay, your turn. I want to hear your opinion about what you've heard thus far. What stands out for you, and what kind of advice would you give this young man? Keep in mind, you cannot advise the lady because she's not the one complaining. She's not present, at least not yet. So advise him, okay? Suffering silently, silent suffering. And I'll be right back. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's get into it. All right, so there are. I get it. I get it. I get it. Let me turn that down. I get it. I get it. My overall assessment of the whole thing is confusion. When a man is confused that way, of course, he will struggle to lead. You know, when a man is frustrated in that way, he will struggle to lead. Okay. When a man is hurt in that way, it's not necessarily the wife that hurts him, but he's hurt nonetheless. He will struggle to lead. Okay. When a man is walking on eggshells, anxiety, is panicking every time he's coming inside the house, he doesn't know what next is coming, he will struggle to lead. You guys agree? Yes? When a whole man in his own right, when he feels helpless, he will struggle to lead. Okay? All of that and above and beyond, obviously, he will resent the whole thing, right? When a person is operating from a place of fear, he can't be himself. So, but guess who's going to be responsible for all of that? Guess who has to hold himself accountable? Can you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Just put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I know you guys want to hear my take on this, but just put a 1 in the chat so we can get going. Of course, he will be confused. Of course, he will struggle to lead. You might even be the best at work. Yeah. You might actually be the best at work. Thank you, Babes Wind. He might actually be the best at his professional job, but he will struggle to lead. Right? Yeah. So the only thing I didn't see him talk about, he didn't talk about sex. So that's probably the least of his issues, right? But there's a good chance that sex has been tampered with. Their sex life has been tampered with as well. But let me get into it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to read and analyze line by line now. I've been the silent viewer of your content for a while, and I think it's time I sign up for your coaching program. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. Because again, my assumption is that this is less than 1% of the story. Okay. So there are certain questions that I will ask that will definitely reveal more. Okay. So as I clearly don't know what I am doing, you're not alone. We've all been there. I'm writing to you from Toronto, Canada. I was born here, Nigerian immigrant parents. I've lived here all my life. My wife, on the other hand, grew up in Nigeria until she was about 23. Now, the fact that you grew up quite differently can create friction on its own. Just socialized in two different, distinctively two different ways. That's 23 years of a person's life. That's a lot to be raised completely differently while somebody had been raised completely differently in the abroad. That will create friction. And what should you do about that? You don't turn around and use that to shame your partner or shame each other. What you do about that is awareness. That means there's some things for you to learn. There's some risk that you must mitigate. Guess what most people do with this? They use it to shame each other. They use it to abuse each other. That's what they do. I thought I understood what it took to be a good husband. Like my father, someone who is stable, reliable, and a rock for his family. You thought, like you said, you thought, but I've learned that this trait, while noble, can become your downfall when they aren't appreciated or respected. No, that's not the reason why there's a downfall. The fact that you're a stable man, a honorable man, reliable man, a rock for your family is not the reason why you fell. It's not the reason why you're being disrespected. It could be your unrealistic expectations around those things, right? You might be feeling entitled because you consider yourself stable, reliable, and a rock for his family. You might be using languages like, I deserve a wife that will be a wife. You might be using languages like that. But obviously, there's a disconnect from your entitlement, what you think you deserve, and the results you are creating. So now we need to iron that out. We need to figure that out. Yeah. And part of being a man is being able to look at yourself square and say, hey, the result I'm creating is not what I like. It's not congruent with what I thought. So there's something to learn, right? It's a good angle to humility, as opposed to thinking you're lowering yourself below your woman. I would never ask you to do that. It's pointless. You might have even learned that from some people and you've tried it and it's not working. The old appeasing her feelings. Yeah, that part. That's still not going to work, okay? Because that's not addressing the actual issues. Anyway, my wife and I met at a church youth event in our late 20s. Yes, church people run into problems. You never knew? Oh, yes, they do. They run into problems all the time. She's beautiful, ambitious, and I fell for her hard. We got married a few years later. Things started out great, as it usually does, right? Our honeymoon phase lasted a bit longer than I expected, which only made me more certain I had found the woman of my dreams. So it was a setup affair. So their honeymoon was kind of like, the honeymoon was extended period of time, and it ended up being a setup. Yeah. The longer it takes, the harder you're going to fall. But again, sorry. This is how it works for the rest of us. You will go through that phase. The honeymoon phase will disappear or will dwindle in and out. You start to question if you made the right decision. You will talk to some people on the internet. They will say, hey, did you vet right? Did you choose right? Why didn't you ask all these questions at the beginning? And then you look at them like, you probably won't. You probably will just be as confused. You will question yourself too. Like a normal human being. You'll be like, maybe I made the wrong choice. He said, but cracks began to show when my parents first came over from Nigeria to stay with us. They had retired a few years prior and sold the house where I grew up. Okay. So this is the part where a lot of people are not prepared for the cultural impact, for the impact of culture on marriage. A lot of people don't, even if you tell them, they can't comprehend it. But a lot of people are not prepared for the impact of that. And it's usually like you don't really have a choice, right? Because your parents are coming, they're going to stay. You could be the only person in town that they have to stay with, right? Well, to me, that's an automatic signal that that's not the issue. The issue is not the parents. Those are the easiest things to point fingers at when your marriage ends or is about to end or is struggling. But those are not the real issues. Those are just the symptoms of not knowing what you're doing, as you've rightfully pointed out in the beginning. Yeah. Because what are you going to do? The parents are going to come. They're going to come. So what else could you change? Good question. Let's keep going. I come from a close-knit family, and my parents mean the world to me. Now, from this statement alone, I smell problems. Now, on the surface value, of course, you come from a close-knit family. That's what a lot of people desire, right? Of course, your parents should mean the world to you, right? But when you have to express it in this manner with respect to all the issues that are going on, it tells me a lot more than we can see right now. Yeah. So that statement is pregnant. But she's never liked them. She's never liked them. What do you mean she's never liked them? Are you saying she married a man that she doesn't like his parents? Your choice. We can simplify it that way, or we can dig a little bit further. We can ask more questions. Why would a woman marry a person that she doesn't really like their parents? Now, that's real. I'm not saying it's not real, okay? For those people in the back, I'm not saying it's not real. That happens. But the point I'm making here is that there's more to that story. You might have been complacent, oblivious to the story. Nonetheless, there's more to the story. She never liked your parents. Again, we have two choices here. We can simplify it, not simplify it. That's condescending. We can make it that simple, right? Or we can ask more questions. She's never liked them just like that? Really? Yes, that's how I feel. Okay, your feelings are valid. Let's keep going. I've tried everything. Of course, you've tried everything. Accommodating her feelings, arranging separate visits, which were quite expensive, even staying up nights talking through her concerns, but nothing ever worked. Now, I believe everything that this man just said, up to the point where he said nothing ever worked. Okay, I actually believe him. Nothing out of everything he said is done has worked. Accommodating her feelings sounds like something you did from a place of resentfulness, right? But Ola, isn't that what you say? Kind of, sort of, but it's a little bit different, right? There is listening and understanding her feelings, and or at least empathy, or at least open to the idea that you could understand her feelings. And there is accommodating her feelings. Do you know the difference? Is there a difference? I mean, it doesn't sound different. I know this one might be a struggle. Let me try again. There is accommodating her feelings. You know, when you're accommodating the person, that person is inconvenient. It's what you're saying, essentially, right? Like, I don't have a choice, but I'm going to... No, actually, you have a choice. You can tell them to F their feelings and go somewhere, go back to their father's house. You do have that choice. Or you leave the house for them. One of the two, right? You have those choices. So we need to kind of act like we have options here. I need you to have a mindset that you actually have options, right? You have the options of attempting to understand where she's coming from, her feelings, her emotions, right? But you will struggle if you haven't taken the time to understand your own feelings first. If you haven't taken the time to understand that, number one, you are an emotional being like everybody else. You have emotions too, feelings that will need to be validated somehow, some way. Yes, you have that first. You need to process that first. That's emotional intelligence. That's when you can properly address other people's emotions. If you don't understand your own emotions and then understand it and process it, and you try to understand other people's emotions, it will backfire, because essentially you will be accommodating a feeling. You can try small, but it will burst open at some point, and that's not a pretty look. It's going to be nasty, okay? Because you have been bottling things up. It's going to confirm that in a minute here. So accommodating our feelings, maybe because I have bias, I already read the story, but that sounds like something that was done from a place of resentfulness. If there's a way you can accommodate our feelings and not come from a place of resentfulness, that's what I'm looking for. That's what you need to do, okay? But that usually means you are aware that you have your own emotions, and at some point you will need to express that as well, okay? You just also need to pay attention to timing. You need to pay attention to the soil that you're going to be sowing these seeds into. Make sure that they are fertile and they can receive it, and it can actually produce good fruit. Anyway, let's keep going. The next thing he said is done is arranging separate visits, which were quite expensive. Again, inconvenient. You're doing inconvenient stuff that eventually you're going to resent, okay? So they can solve the problem temporarily, but eventually you're going to bottle up a ton of resentments, and it's not going to be a pretty look. Even staying up nights, talking through her talking through our concerns. Now, that sounds like a lot of talking. Maybe you meant you were listening. I hope you meant you were doing a lot of listening, but highly unlikely, because you probably got caught up in your emotions too, right? You probably are trying to, like, no, but you're wrong. This is how it is done. That's probably what that conversation looked like. He's going to confirm that in a second here. She doesn't take corrections well. Okay, so let's rewind back. So it sounds like a lot of the talking through her concerns might have involved a lot of criticism, corrections, right? What's wrong with corrections? I know. Me too. I used to ask the same question. What's wrong with corrections? Yeah.
You doing what?
Yeah, I used to ask the same question. What's wrong with corrections? Ladies, what's wrong with corrections? Hey, Joe, tell us, what is wrong with corrections? Right? It's a good question. I used to ask the question, what's wrong with corrections? You know, but it's not the correction. We'll talk more about that. Let's just hang tight. It's a good question. Hang tight. She doesn't take corrections well. She would argue that my parents were too intrusive or too judgmental. Okay. When she says that, she's expressing feelings, emotions, right? The feelings and emotions you've been trying to accommodate that hasn't worked. But what she's saying is those are expressing of feelings. When somebody is expressing feelings, it potentially creates an opportunity to ask more questions, right? Or unless, of course, you're close-minded, like most of us in the beginning. Okay. I didn't see it that way. Of course, you didn't see it that way. You didn't see it that way because you were correct and you needed to correct her. You didn't see it that way. Of course. I think they were just being parents and should be honored. Yes, that's exactly how I felt. You know, I would even say that with my own story. You can see it in the book, right? I would even say that about my own mother-in-law, because sometimes they will get into it. My wife and my mother-in-law, like, let mommy be mommy, and she didn't like that when I said that. She like, no, like, stop. Like, she felt like I was taking sides. I'm like, wait, that's your mother. She's disconnected from that. It doesn't matter, right? Women in general, this is a big problem, gentlemen. This is something that's very hard for us to comprehend. Women, they hate the feeling that you are taking sides with another person. Yes, even including their own children. Okay, they can't stand it. Sometimes they won't say the same way I just said it, but they know what they felt, and that's what you're fighting oftentimes, and you think you're fighting logic. I know, you thought you were fighting logic, but you're fighting something. You're fighting forces behind the scenes, right? You're not fighting flesh, ever. Always remember that. You're never fighting flesh. Let's keep going. I didn't see it that way. I think they were just being parents and should be honored. But she resented them regardless of my efforts to bridge the gap. She probably didn't exactly resent them. She resented the idea that you were taking sides with them. That's naturally will make you feel like she resents them, because she doesn't know how to, oftentimes she doesn't know how to express that. She would talk too much and then would come off as she hates your parents. And ladies, that's the worst thing you can do to a man, to come off as you hate his parents. Again, it's going to backfire in multiple different ways. You guys will just be confused. Potentially, you might end up in divorce court. Why? Just because of parents? It's just one of the many things. Remember, the core behavior is not being able to see eye to eye, not having enough social emotional intelligence to process some of these issues. This same thing will happen in other forms. It's just easy to point fingers at finances, in-laws, sisters, your mouth smell. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Those are just the easy things to point fingers at. But the core issues will repeat themselves in multiple different ways. So, hence, divorce court for a lot of people. That's when they say irreconcilable differences. Okay? But she resented them regardless of my efforts to bridge the gap. That's also him expressing how he feels. He feels that she resents his parents. As if that wasn't enough, one of her own uncles, started to get involved. I've heard things, and I suspect aspects of our upbringing are responsible for this turmoil. It's too late to bring up anything about somebody's upbringing. First of all, you're not their therapist, and you should not be playing one. Okay, you're having sex with them. You can't be playing therapist and be having sex with her at the same time. That doesn't make any sense. Or being the correctional officer at the same time. It doesn't make sense. Let me rewind. Okay, let's go back to the correction thing. Being the correctional officer in your relationship and being the therapist and then having sex with them at the same time, it never works. Write this down for the rest of your life. Okay, it cannot work. There's a way you can make it work. I'll get to that in the tips, but you need skills around this. Okay, and it's going to test your core. Okay, because you might end up arguing with your destiny when I tell you the skills. Hold on one second. Okay, all right, let's keep going. So, uncle, her own uncle, has basically been telling on themselves, talking about their family. But again, anything that happened in her past in the form of trauma or anything that really, really deep spiritual stuff, that's none, it's too late. That's none of your business. You will just destroy, you will shoot yourself on the legs. Okay, because especially if somebody is coming from Africa, there's more than enough things you can blame, more than enough things you can point fingers at. I say that's the witchcraft. Oh yeah, there's so many activities going on that you can point. You will shoot yourself on the leg. You will create more of what you want to see, and there will be more than enough pastors and wolis and prophets that will help you expand it legitimately. Yes, because after all, you've engaged it. Why not? It's like, why not? Right? So it's none of your business what happened to their family once upon a time. Maybe they used to do things like that. Their forefather used to be a babalawo. Don't do that to yourself. Okay, before you count 2 or 3, 4 generations, if you're a true Nigerian, you will find something that you will use to shoot yourself more on the legs. Don't do that to yourself. You chose to marry that person. There was some kind of value you saw in that person when you married them. And your inability to be able to focus on that right now is part of the issues. Granted, it's easier said than done, especially if they have been offensive. Things like they're spending money and they're spending all this money and you don't feel like a leader in your own household. I get it. But let's keep going. As you can see, these problems are thick. Our uncle once mentioned that they act crazy on one side of our family. So the uncle conveniently said only one side of the family acts crazy. Every family has dysfunction. Get it in your skull. Every family has dysfunction in one shape, form, or the other. There's a worry in every family, maybe a couple, including your own family. Don't deceive yourself. Anyway, let's keep going. He revealed this during the conflict. Of course, he revealed it during the conflict. He revealed it during the conflict between him and my mother-in-law about 4 years ago. So they were airing their dirty laundry in public. So you heard it. So you held on to it. And now you think your wife is just as crazy as that one side of the family. Oh, God help me.
How did you be that?
That's witchcraft. It doesn't get any better than that. That's witchcraft. That's it right there. That's how effective witchcraft are. If you ever wonder how witchcraft operates, that's it. It creates problems between loved ones. Okay. You don't have to look for extra floating stuff. No, that's it right there. That's how witchcraft attack people's families. We are our own worst enemy. It uses us. Anyway, let's keep going. How far are we? So uncle, we're talking about uncle now, right? So uncle was running his mouth, of course. He revealed this during the conflict between him and my mother-in-law about 4 years ago. Anyway, our mother would call her and subtly, and sometimes not so subtly, hint that I should take a firmer stance with my parents for her sake. So yes, some in-laws will do that. Gentlemen, this is not energy you want to engage, especially if she's also a woman, okay? She's the mother. She's probably trying to protect her own child in the way she knows how to. Quite incompetent, I might add. But don't engage. Don't waste your time on that. You can never correct that. Oh, let me guess. You're trying to be a correctional officer on this one too. Of course, she's trying to. If you don't listen, if you're so confused and you're feeling all these different emotions, confusion, frustration, hurt, right? Not being able to lead in your family, anxiety, you can't lead. All the women in your life will attempt to help you lead. Yeah. Including your own mother. Yeah, because they don't like to see the picture of a man who is not her. You ever see women sympathize with women before? They are the worst enabler ever. Even me here, when I'm doing correctional officer my own here, sometimes they won't let me correct in peace. Like, you should know to meant to also go through. We know, sympathizers. So in that same token, yes, your mother, in the form of sympathizing, she will come there and attempt to help you, right? They will poke their nose into your matter, says the issue. You don't want to engage that. Just leave that as what it is. Everybody will get caught up in their emotions. It's just what it is. If you engage your own emotions, then it becomes basketballs. Then you become confused. Then you feel stuck in the middle. Let's keep going. I wanted peace, so I often found myself bending over backward to appease everyone. It was like walking on eggshells daily. Yeah, I'm sorry, but again, you can't lead in that space. You're not a leader in that space. So it makes sense that you're walking around on eggshells. It makes sense. You wanted peace, so you start walking on eggshells. So you are bending over backward when you can also say enough. You don't have to say anything perfect, by the way. You can just say enough. I'll talk to you later. Hang up. Oh my, you are disrespectful. They will be all right. Okay. Especially if your own mental health is being tampered with in that moment. You can't help anyway. You can't lead from that space of emotional turmoil anyway. Let it be. Relax. Be polite as much as you can. But they will probably still interpret it as it's not going to be enough. They will say you were disrespectful. It is what it is. But don't engage them in that. You have been engaging them with arguments. That's what created this. That's the point. You wanted peace, but you don't want peace at the same time. You want violence. See, I can read between the lines. Let's keep going. Joint finances were another minefield. I thought managing money together would bring us closer, but it felt more like a power struggle. She has always been a spender. New clothes, dinners out, gift for her side of the family. Now, here's something key that he said. She has always been a spender. Okay, always is exaggeration, but also if that feeling is also just as valid. If you know that you've known this person to be this way, right? So we're not going to pretend like that's new. Now, should you continue to endure it? No, of course not. But there are ways to have conversation. There are ways to foster the what you want, how you would like it to look like, right? But you have to be calm enough to be able to create that solution. You cannot get caught up in your emotions or engage correctional police officer mode and think you're going to get anything good out of it. You're not going to get anything good out of it. You're going to come off as judgmental. Oh, judgmental. Yes, you're going to come off as judgmental. She's not going to hear you before she shuts you down because she already assumes you're about to judge again. No, she's not hearing it for the first time. She knows also that she's a spender. No, also you're correct. She should correct that as an adult, right? You're right. She should correct it as an adult.
Oh, you're right.
But guess what adults do when they get caught up in their emotions?
You doing what?
Correcting? No. Including you. When you get caught up in your emotions, you do all the wrong things. Okay? Is it intentional? It's up to you. I don't know what you want to call it. But there are emotions at play here. That's the point. Okay? And that's why emotional intelligence is required. You can't just use most people's idea of common sense. Because I like common sense, but 9 out of 10 people, when they say common sense, I'm like, Jesus, Lord help me. God have mercy upon us. Anyway, I wanted peace, but I wanted violence at the same time. So joint finance has always been a spender. She'd make big purchases without consulting me. That's bad behavior, right? But we want to go beyond just acknowledging or identify it as bad behavior. How do we fix it is what we're talking about. When I try to bring it up, it will turn into an argument, right? We already know that, about how I'm trying to control her and how I'm jealous of her independence. Once your woman starts calling you jealous, and it's even worse if she has been calling you jealous behind your back. She has never really called you to your face. Baba, you don't have one chance, so it's gonna get bad because you can't fix what you don't know. But at least she called you jealous to your face. At least, so we can fix it. We know what we're working with, right? We're both working professionals, and yet I feel like I have no freedom to lead in our financial decisions. You cannot wait for freedom to lead. It's either you're a leader or you're not a leader. It's okay if you're too weak to lead. At least we need to acknowledge that so we can move beyond that, right? But it's either you're a leader and my job, my goal is to help you become the leader that I know you are. Because at least you're asking questions. And that's one of the things that leaders will do. They would ask questions. They will ask for help. Fake ass leaders will act like they know everything. So they won't do anything until everything collapses completely to the point of no return. Right? Why? Because they know everything there is to know. They're close-minded. Anyway, so let's keep going here. So you've been called jealousy. Okay. We're both working professionals, and yet I feel like I have no freedom. Okay. It got to a point where I started keeping quiet just to keep the peace. That's a terrible idea. Keeping quiet is not the same thing as when the book says silence is golden. That's not the same thing as active listening. Okay. That's not the same thing as listening, period. I'm keeping quiet to keep the peace. That means you lost the battle. You feel like you lost a battle. So you're being quiet and you're resenting actively in the same space. You cannot resent actively and be listening actively. You can't operate in the same place. I understand you've heard people say, soon laughing circle brain. You might even call it, you were just being patient. You might even confuse the two together. But no, you went quiet to keep the peace. So the issues were never resolved. They will come back to the surface again. I bottled up my feelings, exactly, thinking I could endure it, but the silence became burdensome, and over time, it became harder to breathe, of course. I wanted us to go to counseling. She has rejected all the counselors I suggested, including you. I think it's about not wanting any suggestions from me. She's afraid she might be judged. That is a real fear of a lot of women, especially if they were raised in Nigeria and they saw women being mistreated. And if you bring anything to the table that look anything remotely traditional, they might push against it. Yes. The same way men might push against the idea of therapy sometimes. Many a times. All right. Okay, we're doing well with time. Okay. I think so. I think we can fly through the tips. Okay. So she's afraid she might be judged. She's accused me of picking a counselor. She'd accused me of picking a counselor who would be biased in my favor. My aunt ambushed us with a visit the other day, and she hated the whole thing, claiming she felt judged. I don't think I'm a jealous man. You don't think? Well, somebody else thinks different, all right? So who is right? I think you're right because you're the one talking now.
Well, you're right.
But it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Let's keep going. But she started accusing me of jealousy whenever I brought up our increasingly flirtatious behavior. She'd stay out late, laughing and chatting with other men while I stood in the ground. There are women that flirt, like they're very flirty like that. They have the flirty thing going on. There are women like that. But it could also be a situation where you already feel you don't feel a connection. So anything that looks like a connection outside of you will make you feel some type of way. There's nothing wrong with you, but know that there's a reason why she's calling you jealous. That's all. When I ask about it, she'd scoff and say I was just insecure and imagining things. Maybe I was. Okay, so you admit maybe you were imagining things, but I never felt this way before her. Well, that's attraction actively working like that against you. But let's keep going. What really tore me apart was how she started competing with my sister, who lives across town. My sister and I have always been close. She's one of my best friends, but somehow my wife saw her as a threat. So it seems like she's seen a lot of things as a threat, right? She's on the defense a lot with anything that has to do with your family or maybe your ability to lead. There's one core thing here that I can see here. She does not have respect for you. She struggles to accord you respect. But you're not making things easier with all of this, right? But let's keep going. She, outside of just, of course, talking to me now, she'd make snide comments, criticize our career choices, that's sister's career choices, and even dismiss my sister's attempts to be friendly. It was like nothing my sister did was ever right in our eyes. I feel stuck. Again, this issue is not about your sister. This issue is not about your parents or the finances, because we can solve that one easily. It's about an active division between you and your wife, and the way you're handling it is like your life has ended, right? That's at least the tone I'm getting here. And it makes sense because, again, you're the one that's also bending over backwards and you're talking your own feelings to appease another human being, thinking somehow that will be sustainable. Of course, that will not be sustainable. Of course not. Because you're still a human being. You too, you're somebody's son now, right? So if I stood up for my sister, I was being unsupportive of my wife. If I kept quiet, I was betraying my own family. Why do you have to do any of the two? I don't understand. Why is that any of that your priority? And when you say my own family, what do you mean? The family you created or the one you came from? You have to have some priorities. You have to have some self-respect here. It's key. Again, people will mimic the level of self-respect you have for yourself, right? At least in the long run. In the short term, people can test you, but you can also put them in their place if they do the wrong thing, right? So let's keep going. Either way, I was losing. I feel trapped in this silent suffering. All I feel is emptiness. I've done everything I can to be the man she said she wanted, but it seems I'll never be enough. Here's something I'll be interested in. What is the man she said she wanted? I want to hear more about that, right? So we can help you understand that, because sometimes the understanding is discombobulated, right? What is the man she said she wanted? Did you fully understand what that is? Or your own idea was a stable man, honorable man? What was your father? Let me go back and read that part. He said his father was stable, reliable, and a rock for his family. Is that what she wanted? Is that what she said she wanted? No. Many women will tell you what they want. They want a Jesus baby freak. No, not freak. They want a Jesus baby. They want a God-fearing man. They want tall, dark, handsome, right? Is that really what you're working with here? Right? What is the man that she said she wanted? Did you take your time to fully understand that? If you didn't, you're not alone. We all made the same mistake. So calm down. Stop beating yourself up so badly. Okay? Calm down. Relax. Okay? But there's a good chance you have no idea the kind of man that she said she wanted. Okay? And obviously, you probably are not showing up as that man. Now, let me leave a little bit of room. Let me take a deep breath here. Could your woman just be the evil kind that you mistakenly married and you shouldn't have married in the first place? Yes. There's only one thing you should do with that person. Please let them go. Divorce her. Let it go. Let's keep the conversation that simple. Let it go. But if there's more to it, I suspect there's more to it. I suspect you love her. Remember how you describe her in the beginning. Let me go back here. She's beautiful. She is, even say she was. She is beautiful, ambitious, and I fell hard. Okay, I fell hard. Right? That part, right? I want to hear more about that. Right? No, don't worry. We'll address all our bad behavior, but I also want to hear about all those things too. So I feel trapped in this silent suffering, or like, okay, emptiness. Okay, I don't have a solution, and maybe the worst part, I just need to talk to someone who might understand. How much do you charge for relationship counseling? Right now, we do have a promo going on that we're charging $1,000 for 12 months of coaching, and if you prefer a payment plan, $100 per month for 12 months, or $1,000 prepaid for the 1 year, or if you just want an hour, it's $200. So we do have that promo going on right now. Let's see. Let me come to the chat. Anybody said anything so far? What do you guys think? Any pushback? Anything? Mario says the wife sounds isolated. That's a good possibility. Absolutely. Because she's fighting all those people, obviously. Also, she was 23 when she came, and he's lived here all his life. So he probably has most of his friends around. But then they've been married for a few years. She probably has her own friend too, but that's a very good possibility. A lot of people will feel that. Black Diamond said, this man sounds like he's smothering her. Clinginess is unattractive. That's a good point. Thank you for yielding back to the topic. The topic today is unveiling the secret of what makes a man truly irresistible to a man. Clearly, this woman is resisting him hard. She's resisting everything about him. So I want to share 5 shocking ways to become unforgettable to your woman. Black Diamond can help me. Okay. I'm just gonna fly through them because I run out of time already. So allow me to fly through them, and then if you see anything interesting, we can reiterate and re-emphasize if we need to. But the first tip that I have for this, I already gave a ton of tips already in the analysis, but the first tip is obviously to transform is silence to presence. Being present is not the same thing as being silent. Just because you're silent doesn't mean you're present. If you're not present, you can't love. You can't be a good lover if you can't be present. When you say you go silent, are you being dismissive? Are you running from your problems? I understand it can be difficult because if you end up with a wife that also knows how to hit you properly below the belt with her words, yes, you might feel the need to shut down, and you're angry now. You've given up. You're giving up your responsibility as a man. Never do that. And obviously that's not attractive either. So if you want to become irresistible to your woman, presence, she needs to feel it. It's not hearing it. She needs to feel your presence. When you enter the door, she knows you've entered the house. She knows everything just feels safe and secure when you enter our environment. She just knows, and she can't wait. What does that look like? Yeah, there's a lot I just said there. It's a lot I just said. So instead of going quiet and bottling up your emotions like a toddler, in the name of you want to keep the peace, how about focus on being present? It's another way of saying active listening. Okay, focus on your skill around being present. All right, that silence will feel like a void, will feel like you're being dismissive. It will create distance. I guess that's what that pushback that person was having on my book review yesterday, when they said, oh, distance makes the heart fonder. That's if there's fond already, a story. But you can create distance with silence. Okay, silence is golden, but please, if it means that you're dismissive, it's probably going to backfire. Okay, so instead you want to replace that with mindful engagement. You want to engage her. You want to instead of running from your problem actively, instead you want to say, tell me more. What else do you want us to address, babe? What else do you want us to address? Wait, what's all that? That's on Africa. Listen to me, okay? Let's get back to the story. See that story? That story is a very toxic story, and that's only less than 1% of what's already going on. Okay, sounds like you don't want to lose your wife. You don't want to lose your wife? Listen to me, okay? You'll be able to express yourself. Trust me, the time is coming when you can express yourself, all right? So the idea here is not to bottle your emotions. That's what I'm pushing against. What I'm saying is be present. Understand what you're speaking to. Understand the problem you're trying to solve before you start to open your mouth and do corrections. So replace that silence, the silent treatment. That's how it starts. Replace that with your presence. Tell me more. What else is going on that you want us to talk about? Okay, all right. We will address them. Okay, we'll address them. Okay, tell me more. No, that's it. You even before you say that the second time, she will even read you. She will, because she knows you better. She knows normally you shut her down before she talks. She knows you. But now she's confused. If anything, she's like very confused. Like, tell you more. What do you mean more? That's the issue. Okay, all right, babe. We can address these issues, but let me just speak from here. Take your time. You don't have to be in a rush. You don't have to have all the answers. Okay, it's really the presence that matters. It's really the vibes that matters. It's the emotions that you're creating that matters. Yeah, either you know it or not, you are creating emotions. You might not know it. You might not be doing it intentionally, but you might be creating chaos. The chaos that you're experiencing, you might be creating it. How do I know? Because I know you've been arguing actively with her. Because I can just correct that. No, I know you have been arguing with her. So of course she will have a hard time respecting you. She can't respect you. She cannot be attracted to you if you are actively arguing with your lady. Me too, I don't want anyway. Exactly. Thanks for proving my point. Anyway, let's go to number 2. Reframe corrections with value. Correction, you're right. There's nothing wrong with corrections. But I'm trying to think of there's a hyperbole that's coming to me, some kind of proverb that's coming to me that I want to use to explain, but it's not registering properly. But anyway, reframe corrections with value. Heart being the beholder. When you say value, not what's valuable to you. We're talking emotions now, right? We're not talking about what's valuable to you. What is valuable to her? What is she looking for? Like somebody just pointed out right now. Again, we won't know until we actually address you personally. But it could be she feels isolated, right? If she feels isolated, what will be valuable to her, right? What will be reassuring her that no, we are all family. And how are you going to do that? If there's been damage, it's going to take you a while to rebuild that trust, that she can trust you, that she can trust you and your family, right? What is the actual issues going on behind the scenes that's making her so defensive about you and your family? If you want to address the surface stuff, you will continue to perpetuate the problem. You will just be moving, you'll be arguing with your destiny back and forth. Those arguments will create real life damages, but you will never get to the real issues. Why? Because you were correcting. Because we should be our parents should be honored, and that's it, and that's it, and that's it, and nothing should be said outside of that. Is it that simple? If it was that simple, you would have figured it out. It's not that simple, obviously, right? So that's why you're struggling, because you're stuck on bullshit. Okay. Yes, you can correct, but you have to be able to sandwich your correction, start, lead it, end it with value. Okay. When I say value, what is it that she values? What is it that she's complaining the most about? How can you replace that pain with pleasure? If people are not gravitating away from pain or towards pleasure, don't expect them to change their behavior. That's unrealistic expectations of human beings, period. Human beings should just do better. Okay, are you God? Because human beings are going to be human beings. Again, I'm sharing this with you because you're the one telling the story. I'm sure, trust me, I know your wife is not perfect. Trust me, just trust me when I say that. She's not perfect, okay? She's not show you shiggy for sure. But if you continue to act like a victim, it's not in a romantic relationship, it's not going to get better, okay? I need to first of all get you empowered. Understand that you actually have powers that you have not tapped into yet. You've been giving your power away with all those arguments. All right, let's go to tip number 3. We don't like to do assumptions. Assumptions are your enemy. Assumptions are easy, they're enticing, they're distractions, but they're also super easy and they make common sense. Replace assumptions with your best case scenario. You're going to naturally assume the worst case scenarios from your worst of the worst experience you've had. You will predict it. You don't have to say it. She can smell it. That's why she gets defensive up front. You're assuming motives, okay? You're assuming you think you know what's going on because they're crazy on one side of their family. You're assuming, obviously, because you've experienced that spending all this money, you're making assumptions that you're tired, you've given up, there's nothing else, you could never be a good man for this woman. That's actually not true, okay? It's actually more likely that you have a better chance, okay? That's only if you're open to learning. You have a better chance of being the man she wants than anybody else outside. The grass might seem greener for her on the outside, but trust me, because of the history, because of the good times, because we all tend to reflect into the past with rose gold color lens, right? You have a better chance because everybody else outside, if you know what you're doing, everybody else outside will struggle to compete with you, especially if you have children. All right, so Instead of making an assumption that she's always flirt or anything like that, or coming off as you're making assumptions to the extent where she'll be calling you insecure, all that kind of stuff. Again, you can change a lot of that. Okay. So for example, there's a quick example, right? Let's say she's flirting with people in your opinions are like an asshole. You're fine with your opinion. But let's say your opinion, you feel like she's too friendly. Friendly. She's too friendly with other men out there, and she's like, what's funny? What's funny? Like, so instead of you saying, who is that guy you were flirting with, even if you have to come sneakily, because remember you're walking on eggshell, so you probably can't even confront her like that. It will still come off as confrontational, by the way. But you go to her, you sneakily say, so who was that guy you were flirting with earlier? She's like, flirting? What do you think? I beg, Gary, what do you mean by flirting? Instead of saying stuff like that, if I were you, I would say, who is that butt ugly guy? That's what I would say. And then she was like, well, what butt? What do you mean? Who's butt ugly? Who's that butt ugly guy? The one you were talking to yesterday. Butt ugly. You're jealous. Oh, I'm jealous. You think I'm jealous? I beg, answer me. Who's that butt ugly guy outside? Jealous with you? How would that be ugly of that one? She's not used to that. She's not used to you coming off that way. You've been walking on eggshells, right? You've been tiptoeing around the real issues that are bothering you, right? She'll be confused at anything. She might even still call you jealous, so you have to be patient, right? But anyway, replace assumptions with the best case. Why is this best case scenario? Best case scenario is that you're not bothered about that person. Never, ever show up or present as you're bothered about another man. Never, ever present that way. I know you're a human being. You feel what you feel or anything, whatever, but don't do that to yourself. Try not to mention another man. Right? There's some women that are terrible with talking about their ex and anything. Oh, my ex would have, they might do things like that. Don't bite into that, okay? She knows what to do. Once you don't bite into it, she knows exactly what to do. But if you engage it and you start to act butthurt about, she's talking about her ex, and you're complaining, you're whining like a little bitch in the house because she talked about her ex, it's going to multiply. Remember, they multiply everything. Okay? Is it inappropriate? I don't know. It depends on what else is going on. Maybe it's just in passing or something like that. I don't know. If it's like a recurring thing, it's okay to say one time, like, babe, why you keep talking about your ex? I don't want to hear about your freaking ex. You could say that and keep it moving. But if you sit down there and you keep arguing about that issue, and then it's now connected, because remember, women connect everything. They're now connected to in-laws, to your sister, to the money, how she bought Gucci bag yesterday. But you can't fight. That's not the kind of battle you are designed to fight. You're supposed to protect everybody, not end up in some kind of chaotic conversation that has no directions. You're supposed to bring it back to direction. That's your role. So if you're not able to bring such conversations back to direction, it's no wonder she can't respect you. She will struggle. No, she should just respect. Good luck. Best of luck to you. She just because she's a woman, she should just respect a man.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet. Anyway, let's go to number 4. Number 4 is quite similar to number 2, but invite, don't insist for collaboration. This has to do with the finances thing, you know. A lot of the vibe around even the way you deliver the email sounds like a lot of pushy correction that made a cameo appearance. It just sounds very, very pushy, you know, like you're uptight, like relax, you know, right? What you will probably end up doing is pushing her further and further away. Okay. So instead of pushing your way or the highway, directly or indirectly, use the attitude of invitation. Like you actually have something. Confidence is key in this. You have something of value. So you understand that you don't have to oversell it. Instead, you're making some kind of invitation to an opportunity you have created. So you have to have created an opportunity first in order to invite people into it. What does that have to do with this talk exactly? So you have to think a little bit deeper. Take your time to think a little bit deeper. Create opportunities for her to feel like she's about to miss out. Because you will be making a decision, right? You're not going to be waiting for her forever. So you are creating an opportunity. So for example, she's spending all this money and all this kind of stuff, right? For me, that's one is very simple. My own is very simple. You will have all the money you can spend. You have access to it in a way that I don't have to be a part of it. I will come up with something in that same direction. I will not be attempting to change your spending habit. What I will probably change is you don't have access to the resources that's there to me in a way that I will have to resent you, right? We'll talk more about that in a minute here. But it's key to understand that you don't want to be using the attitude of pushing your way. You don't want to be perceived that way. You might not mean to quote unquote correct criticism. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. It's how you deliver it. It's what it makes them feel in the way you deliver it. So it's how I deliver. Yes, that's part of your responsibility, especially if you feel so entitled to the leadership position, right? So even decisions that you want to make as a man, you still need it to come off as a collaboration to a large extent. It's the only way that society works today and beyond. It's the way it works even in the corporate world. It has to have some sense of collaboration going on and not I'm the boss type of, like, come on, like okay, let me calm down. It needs to feel like it's also their idea, right? You want them in a position where they're actually saying, no, you decide, not you fighting for who's going to decide, okay? So for example, in this money thing, instead of attacking things that you spend too much, that's coming off as a boss. You spend too much. Okay, it's not even the boss thing. It's about that's going to come off as confrontational, right? We already know that men don't like confrontation, but guess what? Human beings in general, we don't appreciate anything that's confrontational from a romantic partner. Okay. For me, I would have said, hey, I want you to have the freedom to spend all the money you want to spend on the nice things that you like. Babe, you know, I love it. You smell so good. All those perfumes, all those nice things. I love it. But I want you to have the freedom because remember what she's looking for is some kind of freedom. That's what you're looking for. I forgot. You're looking for freedom too, right? A lot of people actually forget about freedom when it comes to this romantic thing, right? They think more, you're looking for freedom. There's enough people saying that on the internet. You're looking for freedom, then stay away from marriage. That's it. That's a misfire because the reality is that we're not talking about freedom. No, there's nobody is putting shaku on people's legs. We're talking about mentally. Nobody is staying with you when they don't feel a sense of freedom. It's only a matter of time. They will dump you. I'm just letting you know right now. So just in case you don't know, it's just if they don't feel a sense of freedom, feelings. We're not talking about real handcuffs on people's hands because that's what they're talking about. Oh, you want freedom? You just want to be able to get out and go out to the clubs anyhow. That's not what anybody is looking for. They want to feel a sense of freedom with you. If they feel that, the last place they want to go is going out clubbing with a bunch of friends that will hate on them anyway. But of course, the first time they feel like they are being smothered. Somebody mentioned that earlier on. Black Diamond mentioned it, of course. The first time they feel a sense they're being smothered and they want a little space, they're supposed to go out. What do you say? You say, hey, you want your freedom to hang out with your friends, Abby. So you overreact. So of course she's going to show you that, well, I can do what I want. I'm an adult. Women that say that to you is because they've lost respect for you. Your issues are bigger than just the club for that night. I'll be the girls' trip. The issues are deeper than that. Okay, she simply doesn't want to be around you. She's lost respect for you. If it's a lost, then there's hope because you're the same guy. You just have to now acquire some skills, right? But if you keep perpetuating it, yes, you can break it to a point of no return. All right, so I don't know how club came into that, but the point is that don't be the needy person. So let's go to tip number 5. Speaking of neediness, shift from neediness to valuing freedom. I'm just going to read this and then we'll call it today. Okay. Neediness often manifests as over-explaining. shalaye, defending, or overly pursuing validation, right? Now, keep in mind, but her too, she's defensive, but I don't have any experience of her complaining. Maybe she does to somebody else, but I don't have any experience of that, right? But if she's complaining to somebody else, I hope they would tell her the same thing, like, hey, so what do you want to do? You want to fix it? All right, so let's get to some work and let's fix it, okay? So, but over pursuing of validation, which is what we all do when we narrate these stories, instead of looking for reassurance or validation, lean into creating a space that feels secure and expansive. Expansive meaning they don't feel like they're joking, like they feel like they can push like this, there's space like that, and it's like, okay, come to me, right? That's attraction. At the end of the day, emotions are going to be a major driving force here. Attraction, they need to feel attracted to you. If you force them to stay with you and they're not attracted to you, it's a matter of time. Demonstrate that you are secure in your value. Attraction is not always about sex, okay? Sex can only last for so long, you know. I know some of you think you will keep having sex at the age of 86. Good luck. But the point here is that you can feel a sense of attraction to your partner even though both of you are 86 and 90 years old. So that type of attraction is what I'm talking about. That person just wants to be around you and they allow you to penetrate everything spiritually, physically, mental. You get the gist, right? You get the point? Yes? Demonstrate that you're secure in your value and provide her the freedom to come closer at her own pace. This is how you do it, okay? This non-pressuring stance builds intrigue and attraction. So let's say, for example, when you said, who's that butt ugly guy that you were talking to? And she goes, a butt ugly guy, right? It's just gonna create like some kind of reaction like that. And you're like, yeah, that butt ugly guy, like, oh, you're jealous. So what do you do with that? What if she says you're jealous and insecure, right? What do most people do? They overreact. I'm not jealous, I'm not insecure. Instead, where's Chidima? Chidima would have gotten this. What do you mean? Tell me more. What do you mean I'm jealous? Right? It's an opportunity to just expand the conversation in a light-weighted way that doesn't make people feel like they want to run away from you. Right? You're jealous. Okay, I'm jealous. You like it? You like what you see? You like what you see? Let me show you what this jealous thing can do. Right? Relax is the point. Relax. Everything doesn't have to be so serious. The only major thing that seems major here in this story is the fact that she spent a lot of money. Divide your money up before she gets to the point to access it, to spend it on stuff like that. And then she has the freedom. Because remember, it's a freedom. There's a sense of freedom she needs. Then she has the freedom to spend it how she wants, right? And don't be attached to, oh, this is how we're supposed to, this is how some other people do their finances. Attachment also tend to work against attraction. Okay, so if you're too attached to ideologies, it will work against attraction. And if you relax and release yourself from that, she might even yield back to you and say, babe, you're better with money. Help us with this. Babe, I feel like I've been spending too much. Can you please keep this money for me? Those are the kind of conversations you should be having. Not, let me correct you right now. Stop spending money like that. Listen, there are times that may be necessary. Let's say she sold the house you live in and she gambled with it. Your problem is deeper than the conversation at that point, obviously. But if it's just the way I'm looking at right now, you can solve that issue by having at least 3 accounts within the family. There's her account, there's your account, and there's a joint account for everybody's stuff. And you cannot buy shoes from the joint account to maintain the family now. And if she still dips and go and buy shoe from the joint account with the family, she might need rehab. Just you being a correctional officer is not going to work. She needs something else. That issue is deeper than you trying to correct as a man, as a traditional man, as per a traditional man. That's not going to work. What's still going to work is to understand what is valuable to this person. What is it that they're looking for exactly? And how can you replace that value with something even better, with a better opportunity? That takes time. Exactly. It takes time. You have to process that. You have to be intentional about how you relate with a romantic partner, especially because remember, you are the first person they want to disrespect once they don't feel right. Because why? Because you're having sex. Okay? Sorry. That's just how it works. But you actually have more power than you realize. You have more power than you realize. All right. I'm going to end the session like that. Hopefully you've been enlightened. Shout out to Gracious Greatness who came in last minute. A quick recap: transform silence into presence. 2, reframe corrections into value, power being the beholder. Number 3, replace assumptions with your best case scenario. Assume the best case scenario and reframe your mind, renew your mind. Stop operating from a place of the world is about to end, because it won't end. If your marriage ends, the world will not end, I promise you. Okay. Number 4, invite, don't insist, for collaboration. And yes, foster collaboration always. A sense of it. You are leading. Remember, you're the one fostering the collaboration, so you are still leading. All right. Shift from neediness to valuing freedom. Freedom is key. A sense of it. They need to feel like the space for them to be themselves. If they can't be themselves around you, they will find other people, other men, yes, potentially, to be themselves around. They will feel free. How many of you are watching BMF on Stars? Anybody watching BMF with us on Stars? My wife and I were in the middle of BMF. I'm about to go upstairs. Oh, I think actually we caught up yesterday, so we have to find something else to watch. All right. Anybody else watching BMFs? Let me see. Gracious Grace said, greetings everybody. Waiting happen for this night. Oh yeah, I go use account to hold accountable. Anyway, anybody watching BMF? There's a story in there. There's a story of the father of the 2 gentlemen drug dealers. The relationship between their parents. I think they ended up filing for divorce. But it's a make-believe story, but it's real. It's real. It's happened like that. A person, empty nesters type of situation, still have a young baby, but she fell in love with high school sweetheart, and then she fell on the bowl at first before her sense corrected back. She fell on the bowl at first, So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Me, I will go and rest though. Okay. These videos are here for you to revisit, watch over and over again. There's a lot of stuff being said that you need to hear a couple of times in order to really master this in a way that works for you. Okay. So please revisit some of this video, but more importantly, a favor to your boy, please help me share. Help me share. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this whole thing this week. Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit, like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we're here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.